Hi, welcome to Open Door Yoga. My name is Michelle, and today we're going to go through a 30-minute sun salutation yoga flow. This is a great class for first thing in the morning when you're just waking up, or maybe even late morning, early afternoon if you're needing a little bit of an energy boost. Sun salutations are great to get the blood flowing, stretch out through your whole body. And then also just shift your energy a little bit. So if you're feeling a little bit sluggish in your energy, this is a great practice to come back to just help you reset and get ready for the rest of your day. You shouldn't need any props today. I'm gonna have a lift here. So if you wanna grab a folded blanket, any household blanket would do, or a folded bath towel, beach towel, you're welcome to do so. We're going to start in seated and also end the practice in seated. So I'm going to bring this lift under my sitting bones. And what this lift does is it brings our hips just a little bit higher than our knees. So if you're here first thing in the morning, sometimes when we wake up, our low back, our outer hips are just feeling a little bit tight. And this lift allows us to keep a nice upright spine while not having to rely so much on a lot of flexibility in those areas of our body. So let's get started here in seated. You can start in easy pose, right like this, crossed at your shins, or maybe we kind of cross back closer to our ankles and come into a sage pose. We're only going to be here for a few moments, so choose whichever variation feels better for you. Bring your hands to rest on your knees, or maybe even a little bit higher up on your thighs. And then close your gaze down. If you don't feel comfortable with your gaze completely closed, you can also lower it down towards the mat. Let's first bring our awareness to our body. Notice both of your sitting bones grounded down evenly into the mat or into your lift. Start to bring some integrity to your core and use a little bit of that core strength to help you keep this nice upright spine. Begin to draw your shoulders down away from your ears, shoulder blades down and in on your back body. So feel a little bit of opening through your chest. Start to reach the top of your head, the crown of your head up towards the sky. So we're starting to create this nice long spine. Create a little bit of space between each of the vertebrae in your spine. And then start to bring your awareness to your breath. And as you bring your awareness here, maybe notice if your breath changes at all. Maybe your inhales and exhales get a little bit longer. Maybe your breath gets a little bit more even. And now we're going to start to take some gentle movements to help work through any kinks or soreness that we're feeling in our upper back body, our shoulders, our neck. So if you know postures that feel great in your body, feel free to take them, or feel free to follow along with me. I'm going to start with some really easy shoulder rolls back. And you can start really small here. And then as these shoulder rolls start to settle a little bit more comfortably into your body, maybe they get a little bit bigger. Maybe they get to the point where you can really press those shoulders forward, reach them up towards your ears, and then slide those shoulder blades down and in on your back body. Let's just take a couple more here. And come back to that comfortable seat, shoulders staying down away from your ears. And now I'm going to move up into my neck. So I'm going to drop my chin to my chest and then start to draw circles with my nose. So slide your chin up past your left shoulder and then draw that circle all the way up, nose pointing up towards the sky, and then slide back down past your right shoulder, down chin to chest. You can keep going in one direction, or maybe we alternate each time. Now sending that gaze up to the left, over, and sliding down past our left shoulder. So just take a few neck circles. Move at a pace that feels comfortable for your body this morning. I'm going to take one more in each direction here. And then I'm going to get settled back into my comfortable seat. Take any extra movement that feels good to you. From here, I'm going to move into opening up through my side bodies. Before I do sun salutations, I always like to do a side body stretch. I think it helps get my body in a place where I feel ready for some of those bigger movements that are coming up. So on our next inhale, let's extend our left fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, plant your right hand by your right hip, bend into that right elbow, reach your left fingertips towards the left side wall. You can keep your neck neutral here, or maybe send your gaze up past your left arm towards the sky. Notice if you're starting to rock onto your right hip. If that's the case, just press into your right palm to feel balanced in those sitting bones. Ground down evenly through both sitting bones. Shoulders are still down away from our ears. One more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, rise on up. Exhale, release. Come back to this nice, comfy seat for a full breath cycle. And on your next inhale, let's take it to the other side. Right fingertips reach up towards the sky. Exhale, I'm going to plant my left palm, bend into my left elbow, and reach my right fingertips over towards the left. Find that neck position that's most comfy for you. I'm going to turn to look up towards the ceiling just so I can feel a little bit more stretch and opening through the side of my neck, upper shoulders. Inhale, feel that expansion in your right rib cage, that stretch through your right side body. One more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, rise on up. Exhale, release. Take any extra movements, again, that you feel like you need in your body. We're going to make our way into standing. So as you're ready, set your lift off to the side. If you're going to want it again at the end of the practice, keep it close. And then make your way to standing in any way that feels nice to you. I'm going to rock on over into hands and knees. And then once I'm in hands and knees, I'm going to step one foot forward, followed by the next, really big knee bend, and then slowly rise, rounding up through my spine until I find myself in standing. We're going to get started here in mountain pose. And so you can choose the foot position that feels most comfortable for you. Maybe our toe mounds touch and we V out our heels about an inch or two. Or if you're doing this practice first thing in the morning and your balance is just not there yet, maybe we bring our feet under our hip points. That's going to give you a little bit more stability. It's going to help you feel a little bit more secure as you start moving from standing. So whichever foot position you choose, begin to ground down through all four corners of both feet. Build a little bit of engagement through your thighs, strong core. Draw those shoulder blades down and in on your back body. Fingers are zipped together, palms are shining forwards. We really want to trap any heat, any energy that we build here. Crown of our heads reaching up towards the sky. We're going to start our first round of Sun Salutation A, and we're going to move very slowly. I want you to be able to feel each posture get really settled into your body, so that as we transition with our breath in the next couple rounds, we can move safely. Full breath in here, full breath out. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, gaze lifts past your fingertips. Your fingertips and your palms can stay right here, stacked on top of your shoulders, or maybe we bring our palms to touch. If you bring your palms to touch, just check in with your shoulders. If you're noticing that they're starting to creep up to your ears, slide them back down. And if they are not sliding down, bring those palms apart. Take one more full breath in here. Exhale, knee bend, swan dive down into our first forward fold. As promised, we're going to take our time here. If it feels good, you can even take a bind at your elbows, maybe sway gently from side to side, just really building a little bit of length in that low back, maybe getting a little bit more of a stretch into those side bodies. One more full breath in. Exhale, find stillness, drop those hands. Inhale, rise to half lift. So send your thighs back towards the back wall. Top of your head, your crown reaches forward. Shoulder blades are still tucked down and back on your back body. Keep that space between the tops of your shoulders and your ears. Strong core. So instead of holding your body up with your low back, hold your weight in your core here. Full breath in. Exhale, knee bend, forward fold. Let's plant our hands. We're going to step it on back to our first plank. So we're going to come through a handful of vinyasas today. So we're going to stay here in this first plank for a few breaths, just so we feel it really secure in our body. Plank's a challenging posture, and it's easy to just dump our weight into our shoulders. So keep your shoulders behind your wrists, and then I want you to pull your belly button in away from your shirt, almost like your shirt is a sheet of ice or something that you really don't want to touch. By keeping our weight in our core and out of our shoulders, we're also going to help protect our wrists and keep our wrists from hurting while we're here in this weight-bearing posture. Hug those thighs to the midline, lift your heels over your toe mounds, and then energetically press back through the soles of your feet while you reach your crown forwards. Nice long spine, full breath in. Exhale, bend into those elbows. Pause here in Chaturanga. Inhale, press it on up to upward facing dog. So really ground down here through the tops of your feet. Open up through your chest. Gaze is lifting. Shoulders are still down away from your ears. Full breath in. And then exhale, let's make our way to downward facing dog. So send those hips up and back. Pedal out your feet. So bend into one knee, lift that heel, and then switch it on over to the other side. As you begin to feel settled, bring your awareness to your spine. Use that core strength, and I know you've got it, we just held that plank for forever, and use that strength to send those hips up and back, just a little bit higher. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears, and begin to find stillness, but keep that long spine. And so if that means that our knees are bent a little bit, or their heels are lifted, totally fine. Full breath in here. Release that breath completely. And then we're going to step, walk, or float our feet to the top of the mat. And inhale, rise to half lift. Pause here for just a moment. Keep that weight in your core. And then exhale, forward fold. Take a full breath cycle here. Relax through the back of your neck. And then inhale, rise on up, sweep those arms up and overhead, extended mountain. Release your hands down, mountain pose. Take a few breaths here and just bring awareness to what's going on in your body. Are you noticing any shifts in your energy? How did all of those postures feel? We're going to begin round 2 and round 3, and we're going to start to move at the pace of our breath. Now, everybody's breath is going to be at a different pace, especially once we start moving. And so if your breath is a little bit faster or a little bit slower than mine, stick with it. We're going to stop here and pause in mountain pose between rounds 2 and rounds 3. So I want you to feel free to take your time. Sometimes the transitions between postures are challenging to make within a single breath. And so if it takes you an extra breath or two, that's just fine. We are trying to shift our energy in a positive way today, so you got to do what feels good in your body. So remember, we're all going to meet here at the end. So take your time. Full breath in, full breath out. Let's get started. Inhale, sweep those arms up and overhead, gaze lifts, extended mountain. Exhale, release down to forward fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back to plank, and then retain your breath as you lower down the chaturanga. Full breath into up dog. Exhale, send those hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step walk or float your feet to the top of the mat, rise to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, stack one vertebra at a time, sweep those arms up and overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, release to Tadasana or mountain pose. As promised, we'll take a few full breaths here. Take your time arriving. Keep those fingers zipped together though. We still want to trap this energy, this heat. Let's take one more full breath in. One more full breath out. Let's get ready for our last round. Inhale, sweep those arms up and overhead, gaze lifts. Exhale, bend into those knees, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, rise on up to half lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step it on back to plank for just a moment. Cover, lower down to chaturanga. Full inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, send it on back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step walk or float your feet to the top, rise to half lift. Exhale, bend into those knees, forward fold. Next, inhale, stack one vertebra at a time, safely rise on up to extended mountain, gaze past those fingertips. And exhale, release those arms down by your sides into mountain pose. Let's take another few breaths here and feel free to close down your gaze. Bring that awareness back to your body, that awareness back to your breath. We're going to start to make our way into Sun Salutation B. And so take a moment. If you'd like to reconsider your foot position now that you're waking up, you're welcome to bring those toe mounds to touch, or just keep those feet under your hip points. From here, we're really going to want to build some strength in our thighs. So nice, strong engagement through our upper legs. Really strong core. Palms are still shining forwards. Crowns reaching up towards the sky. Shoulder blades down and in on our back body. And then on your next inhale, send your hips back and slide those arms up and overhead into chair pose. We'll pause here for a few moments. Just like Sun Salutation A, we're going to move slow this first time. While we're grounded down through all four corners of our feet, keep your weight back over your heels. So peek down, make sure that you can still see your big toes. We want to keep our knees safe here. We want our hips to be neutral, so hug your thighs towards the center line to help keep both of your hip points shining forwards. Notice your low back. If you're sensing that you're having this bit of a sway back here, no worries. Just tuck your tailbone to find this nice long spine. Open up through your chest. So you're going to feel a lot of sensation between your shoulder blades and your upper back body. Reach up through those fingertips, full breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Take a full breath cycle in here. Full breath cycle out. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step it back to plank. We're going to be here for a moment, not quite as much as the first time, I promise, but just long enough to feel your shoulders behind your wrists and feel that weight being held in your core. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lower down the chaturanga, pause, and then press it on up on your inhale to upward facing dog. Take a nice full breath in here, full breath out. One more inhale. And then exhale, we're gonna send those hips up and back to downward facing dog. If it feels good, pedal out those feet again. We'll be here for a couple breaths. Full breath in, full breath out. Begin to anchor down into your left heel and send your right leg up high. Now, when I say up high, it just has to be lifted here. We want to keep our hips in line. So even if that means that we're just bringing our right leg about parallel with the earth, that's totally fine. Take a full breath in here. And then we're going to send that right foot up towards the top of the mat. We're kind of in a low lunge here. And then we're going to step our left foot up about a foot and then turn our toes out 45 degrees. So we're coming into warrior one feet. Our left toes are pointed towards the left front edge of the mat. Begin to ground down through your right toe mound, the pinky edge of your left foot, and then rise on up to standing. Hands can start down here on your hips. To get situated here, let's stack our right knee over our right ankle, peek down, make sure you can still see that big toe, back leg is strong and straight. You can use your hands to turn your hip points to face the front edge of the mat or the front of the room. And then hug those thighs in, really strong engagement here to just lock them in place. Feel that nice engagement through your core. And then with lightness, you can extend those arms overhead and then begin to create a little bit of space in your shoulders. So roll your pinkies to the midline, draw those shoulders away from your ears, and then maybe pull your thumbs back to feel this nice opening through your chest. Gaze can lift a little bit. Let's take one more full breath in here. Exhale, plant those hands down, step it on back to plank, just for a moment. Full breath in. Exhale down to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, send those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in here. Full breath out, nice long spine. Then begin to anchor down into your right heel. And you'll send that left leg up high. And again, if this is high, totally fine. Take a nice deep inhale here. Then step your left foot up and through. Step your right foot in about a foot, and then turn those toes out 45 degrees, warrior one feet. We'll begin to ground down through our left toe mound, pinky edge of our right foot. Rise on up to standing, hands can come to hips. And then let's work our way from the ground up. Stack your left knee over your left ankle. Back leg is nice and strong and straight. It's our rudder here to help us keep our balance, to help keep us upright. If you're noticing that your hips are turning out to the right, use your hands to guide those hip points to shine forwards, and then engage thighs. Hug those thighs to the midline to help keep them there in place, to keep them neutral. Nice engaged core, and then inhale, send those arms up and overhead and open up through that chest. Let's take one more full breath in here. Exhale, plant those hands high, rooster. Step it on back to plank. Watch out, man. Lower down to chaturanga. And then inhale, rise on up to up dog. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Take a nice full breath in here. Full breath out. Inhale, step, walk, or float your feet to the top of the mat. Rise to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Take a full breath in here. Maybe press into your fingers to send those hips up a little bit higher. Full breath out. From here, on your next inhale, send those hips down and back. Send those arms up and overhead. Making our way back to chair pose. So do our little checklist. Ground down through all four corners of your feet, but keep your weight back to protect your knees. Maybe we peek down to see our big toe mounds here. Hug those thighs into the center. Tuck your tailbone so we have a long spine open up through your chest. Feel that strong sensation between your shoulder blades. Feel that work in your upper back body. Let's take one more full breath in here. Really reach up through those fingertips. And then exhale, release your hands, extend through those legs, mountain pose. That was our first round of Sun Salutation B. And really take a moment to come back to your breath. Because Sun Salutation B is just a lot more. It's a lot more than Sun Salutation A. It requires a lot more strength in your body, even a little bit more flexibility. And it's harder to keep that awareness on your breath, to move with your breath when your body's working really hard. So take a moment here. Just come back to your breath. Feel those inhales and exhales lengthen. Keep those fingertips zipped together if you can. And we're going to make our way into round 2 and round 3 of this posture, or this sequence. And just like we did in Sun Salutation A, we're going to move with our breath, but we're going to pause here in mountain pose for several breaths. So if your breath is faster or slower than mine, stick with it. Don't let me rush you. Let's take one more breath exchange here. Start reaching your crown up towards the sky, building that engagement in your thighs. Then on your next inhale, send it on back to chair pose. Strong core. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step it on back to plank. Take your vinyasa. And then on your exhale, we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. Inhale, send that right leg up high. Exhale, step it on through. Shift that left foot position into warrior 1 feet. Inhale, rise on up to warrior 1. Exhale, plant your hands, step it on back to plank. Take that vinyasa. Your exhale is going to send you up to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg goes up high. Exhale, step it on through. Shift that back foot. And then inhale, rise on up, warrior 1. Exhale, plant your hands. Step it back to plank, last vinyasa. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step, walk, or float to the top of the mat, rise to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sends it on up to chair. And then exhale, release those arms, extend those legs, mountain pose. Come back to your breath. As promised, we will be here for a few breaths. So take your time arriving. The most important thing as we're doing these sun salutations is to keep your body safe. So if you feel like there are just some postures that you're still learning, take a couple breaths to make sure that you feel secure, you feel stable, you feel safe before you transition to a new one. We'll stay here for another couple breaths. Feel those inhales and those exhales lengthen as we settle back in. Let's take one more full breath in. One more full breath out. Last time. Inhale, send your arms on up, sit back down to chair. Exhale, release down into a forward fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step it back to plank. Take your vinyasa. So your inhale sends you to upward facing dog. Your exhale sends you to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg goes up high. Exhale, step it on through. Shift that back foot position. Inhale, rise on up to warrior 1. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back. Take your vinyasa. Your exhale, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, send that left leg up high this time. Exhale, stepping on through. Change that position of your back foot. You've got this. Inhale, rise on up, warrior one. Exhale, plant your hands. Last vinyasa here. You guys can do this. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale up to up dog. Exhale, send those hips up and back. Super high, nice long spine, down dog. Inhale, step, walk, or float to the top of the mat. Rise to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, send it back up the chair last time. And exhale, release your arms, extend through your legs. Come back to your breath. We'll stay here for a few breaths to allow everyone to arrive back here in standing. Maybe you close down your gaze this time. Really bring awareness to all the different parts of your body. What are all your different muscles feeling? Where's your breath? What's going on in your mind? Are you still running through that daily to-do list? Or maybe we feel like our mind's getting a little bit quieter. Let's take one more full breath in. One more full breath out. We're all going to make our way back to seated. So make your way down there, however feels comfortable. I'm going to face the long edge of my mat and just bend into my knees, lowering my hands behind me so I can safely lower down. But make your way down in whatever way feels best for you. Again, we have this lift handy. So if you'd like to bring it into your sitting bones, you're more than welcome to do so. I know it may feel like a while since we've been sitting here last. But find that comfy seat, whichever one feels best for you on this go around. Lower down your gaze slightly. We're going to come into one last posture, and it's going to be a seated twist on either side. So as you're ready, I want you to really ground down through both sitting bones and reach the crown of your head up towards the sky. By creating that length in our spine, we're also creating space between each of our vertebrae, and we're going to use that space as we twist to one side. So full breath in here, and then exhale from your core, twist towards the right. So left hand can come to your right knee, right hand comes behind you. And on your inhales, keep finding that length. And on your exhales, from your core, twist a little bit deeper. So make sure that we're not pulling with that left arm. We're instead letting our core guide the movement. That's what's going to help keep our spine safe here. Let's take a couple more breaths. One more full breath in, nice long spine. Release that breath completely. Maybe we twist just a little bit deeper. Inhale, unwind, full breath exchange here in the center. Nice comfy seat. Inhale, create that space between your vertebrae. Reach that crown up towards the ceiling. And exhale, let's twist to the left. So right hand can come to your left knee, left hand comes behind. And again, our inhales are all about lengthening, creating space. And our exhales are all about twisting a little bit deeper into this posture. Maybe on this side, we bring our awareness to our shoulders. It's easy when we feel tired to start rounding through our upper back body into our shoulders. Try to intentionally pull those shoulder blades back, down and in on your back body. Keep that nice opening in your chest. Let's take one more full breath in here. One more full breath out. Maybe twist a smidge deeper. Then inhale, unwind. come back to your comfy seat. From here, we're going to make our way into Shavasana, and it's going to be a seated Shavasana right here. So adjust your legs if you need to. Bring your hand to whatever comfortable position feels best. If you know you're going to take a meditation next, maybe you position your hands in some type of mudra that would suit your meditation best. Begin to close down your gaze if you haven't done so already. Nice long spine. Start to bring your awareness back to your breath. And by bringing your awareness to something concrete, that can help bring a little bit of stillness into our mind. Once we have stillness in our mind and stillness in our body, it's easier to achieve that Shavasana state or get ready for that meditative state, whatever you'd like to take next. Stay here as long as you'd like. Thank you so much for joining me today, for sharing this practice with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back soon. Namaste.